3 shots all golfers want to be able to play, and we're starting off with long drive. Let's get into it, see how we do them all. 3 shots, the long drive, and then we're going to move into 2 others, so make sure you stay in tune for those. But how do we hit longer drives? Now, this is a tip for if you get onto a massive fairway and there's not much trouble down there and you think, I just want to try and squeeze an extra 10 yards out of my normal drive, this is what you've got to be doing. Now, if it's tight and there's hazards everywhere, don't follow this advice. Like I say, this is for when you've got a nice wide fairway and you can really give it a good rip. So first things first, we know hopefully how we're going to address the driver. We know that we need the ball in front, in line with our lead foot. We need to see that we've got a little bit of tilt behind the golf ball and we're trying to sweep up on it. We're not trying to hit it like an iron where the ball is in the middle of our stance and we're trying to hit down on it. Like I say, in line with the lead foot, little bit of tilt and get that sweeping action. But if we're going to go and try and hit it that 10 yards farther, couple of tips that I would like you to do to make sure that you're doing it. We take our address. First thing that I need to try and see is that I would just increase my stance width by about an inch and a half. So the trail foot for me, I would stand it out an extra bit and I would also flare my feet an extra 10 degrees as I'm going it, so I could see that my feet are really turned out and I've got a little bit of a wider base as I'm going through. The second thing that I need to do then is feel that in my backswing, I'm not trying to swing the club longer and round my back here. What I'm trying to do is almost feel that get my hands a little bit higher up away from my body here. So in my normal swing, I would look something a little bit like this. In my wider, longer driver swing, I would feel a bit of a higher swing, a bit more stretch with that slightly wider stance. From there then, the big key is feeling that I really use the ground and push forwards from that back foot towards my front foot, really driving the pressure forwards to be able to get all that force going down. And then as I would come in, I would feel that my body is still behind it and I get that big drive forwards and feel that I've got that extra few miles an hour in my swing. One of the other things that I would also do is just peg that ball up a fraction higher. That's going to help me to hit it even more on the up and get it launching high up into the sky. So let's give that a go. I'm going to go normal driver setup, add that extra inch to it, flare the feet, get that good tilt, feel the big high hands, and then from there use those legs to really drive the force home. And that was long, to be fair. That was a nice, well struck long drive. So if we're looking to squeeze a little bit more yardage out of it on those wider fairways, follow those tips, get your stance sorted, nice high hands, use the ground. Let's go and check out the second shot that we need to do that all golfers want to be able to hit. Okay, so the second shot is all about that stinger, the low flighted iron. We'll need it in certain scenarios, like when we're into wind, we don't want the ball getting up in the air too much, ballooning and spinning out of control. It might be when we're on a link style course and we want to just get the ball running, but how do we play it? Because to be fair, when we used to see Tiger playing it, it was super cool. But a couple of things that we need to do. If we're going to hit that stinger, like I say, classified as that low flight shot, so we don't need a club with loads of loft on it. So I've gone to my least lofted iron, which is my 4 iron, which is at like 20 degrees, I think, my 4 iron. That's already going to help me get that low launch that I want. From there then, a couple of changes that I'm going to make all in my setup that are going to help me hit this stinger shot. Normally, if I was playing my 4 iron, what we would see is that that ball would be a little bit more up towards the front of my stance. So with the middle of my body being here, I would normally play the ball a little bit more towards the lead side of it there. With this stinger shot, what we're going to do is change that. So middle of the body again here, I'm now going to put that ball more towards the back side of my stance. The reason for that is that statically, so when I'm still, I'm going to take loft off the golf club because I end up leaning the shaft forwards like so. But then dynamically when I'm swinging, if I get into that position as well, I'm also going to have loft coming off the golf club. What I want to try and do as well, if we just pan around here a little bit, because the golf swing, we know that the club works around the body in a circular motion. As I get that ball further back in my stance, as the club is meeting the golf ball, it will actually be looking a little bit to the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is I would take my normal aim here. I'm actually just going to open my body ever so slightly, so that will then allow my club to swing a little bit more down the target line and get that ball started off more towards my intended target. From there then, it's all about the finish as I go through. Like I say, I don't want to try and add loft to the golf club because I know I'm trying to hit the stinger. I want it nice and low. So as I would go through the shot, I would try and finish with a little bit of a cut-off finish like so, and feel that I'm really trying to hold the angle as I'm going through it. So if we just wander around here, you'll be able to get a really good idea of what that would look like. One of the players that we'll probably see doing a lot of this now, and what we see from a lot of tour players, is like a three-quarter finish, a bit like a Tommy Fleetwood, if we've seen his swing, where as we go through, balls at the back, I've altered my body aim, but I'm trying to hold this position like so, so I've not got much loft on the club, so then as I get through, it would look something a little bit more like so. Let's give that one a go. So, good setup, balls towards the back there, I've aimed my body a little bit left, and as I'm coming through, I'm trying to feel that little punchy feeling in the cut-off swing. And nice and low as that one goes out there, just skirting past the water feature. And we'll see with these type of shots that when we hit them, there's a lot more run on it. Great if you're really struggling to find fairways with a driver, you can get these chasing down the fairways a little bit more. So let's give the third shot a look at and see what it is to help you hit those shots we all want to hit. So go and check it out. So the third and final shot of the shots you need to play better golf is the flop shot. We've got a scenario here now where I've got a bit of green to work with, but the greens are very quick at the moment here at Warrington, so the ball's really going to be running on. So when I'm faced with a shot now, when I come down the slope here, and this is generally when you would need this shot, when we need elevation, we need to get the ball high in the air as possible, we need to get it stopping as quickly as possible, that's where the flop shot comes in. So if we just wander down here, and I'll talk us how we're going to play it. Well, firstly, we need to make sure that we've got our most lofted club in the bag. There's no point you stood there with a pitching wedge trying to hit your highest shot possible. We need the most lofted, so for me, it's a 58-degree wedge. What I'm also going to do then, if I'm going to hit my flop shot, is actually open the club out. So I'm going to add more loft onto it, basically just by twisting the grip before I even take my normal grip. So twist it to add the loft as we put it down there. As we see it just open out here, if we come in close, what we'll notice is it goes from looking relatively high towards the sky, as we're twisting it now, it basically looks more towards the sky as I'm going through it there then. Then what I want to do, if I'm going to hit this flop shot, I've got to get the ball further up my stance, because that's going to allow me to produce more loft as well, because as I enter that part of my golf swing, I'm now going to slide underneath the golf ball but hold this loft off. If I had it at the back of the stance, I would still be coming down steep, so that would take a little bit of the loft off. So as we just pop round here, what we'll see is that as I was playing this shot here, I've opened up for more loft. I would now see that as I address it, I'm going to get that ball more off that lead heel for me here. So not in the back of the stance, more towards the lead heel. From there then, I'm going to still keep that weight in front of my body. One of the big temptations is to lean back and try and help it up in the air. We're doing the job by opening the face up and using a lofted club of actually giving the shot the loft it's needed. I need to see that I've got that weight in front of the golf ball here, so my sternum is pretty much in line with the golf ball here as we go through it. I've got loads of loft, and then the big thing for this is it needs speed, it needs commitment, which is where practice comes in, because stood only 10 yards top from this flag and swinging full out, if I was actually to make a really fast swing, it can be quite a petrifying notion. So it is something that we're going to have to practice. But wait, towards that lead foot. I've got loads of loft, my sternum's over the golf ball, I'm slightly open in my stance, and then, like I say, a lot of speed. And all I'm going to try and do as I hit this shot, when I get into my follow through here, I'm going to see that the face is looking back at me a little bit more now. I wouldn't get my normal release where I'm actually taking loft off again. I'm going to feel that I hold the loft on to help me again elevate that golf ball. So let's go through that. All good. And I try and always make my right hand a little bit weaker as well, just to make sure again I'm holding more and more loft on the more I do this. But weights forward, sternum's over the golf ball, loads of loft on it, nice speedy swing. And as we can see, there goes out really high, one little bounce, and it stops just next to the flag. So that is how we play the flop shot. Guys, I hope those 3 shots are helping you out on the golf course. Give them a go. Like I say, all of them are going to require a little bit of practice for you to actually get them in your arsenal, but if you do, it's going to help you when you're out there. Thanks for watching this lesson. If you've enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button for me down below. I want you to get better at the game, and you're going to do that by joining me for your free lessons each week. Thanks for watching. See you out on the golf course.